do better. You can't get better than that. Yeah, we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. I said we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. We all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. We all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. Say we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. Come on. I said we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. We all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. We all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. Come on, y'all.
Man, that ain't no crime. And that ain't no crime.
Ah! Yes. Hello.
Hello.
And welcome, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Hello, Sleeves.
Hi. I hear Gangstagrass was on tour this past weekend.
Yep. Just dipping our toe into the water.
Yeah?
And going soon, and it was a hot few nights.
The water is nice and hot.
Yeah.
What were some of the highlights?
So, we got new stuff going on in the set, like What I Am is sounding good, and Please Don't Take My Home From Me, and there was some fun conversations and fun moments. The crowds were amazing, really nice audiences. The third night, people were shouting out requests, and we actually slid a couple extra songs in the set. How much extra did we play that night?
There were like a couple extra songs, but that my favorite part was, a guy who'd obviously been to a Gangstagrass show before, shouting, dig a hole! And y'all are just like, yeah, all right. Just threw it in there. Wasn't on the set list, hadn't been planned for, hadn't been rehearsed, and you guys just crushed it.
And Scott Hayes is going to see us in Boone.
Yeah, hey Scott, we look forward to seeing you. There is going to be a very fun thing that happens in Boone, North Carolina. I don't know if you know about this, Scott, but you remember the High Country Cloggers, that awesome clog team that did the clogging for the inaugural parade about a year ago? Remember them? High Country Cloggers out of North Carolina, and they clogged to barn burning. So we called them up and we said, we're going to be playing barn burning in Boone, North Carolina. You want to clog with us? And they're going to do it. So there's going to be live clogging from the inaugural clogging dance team on the stage at the Appalachian Theater of the High Country. We're so excited about that.
Gangstagrass plus cloggers.
It was always meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
There was never any doubt. Hey! Rusty. Thanks for resubscribing. You are great, and we hope to see you at a show too. And bring all your friends, Scott. Bring all your friends to the Boone, North Carolina show, and it's gonna be tremendously fun. Tremendously fun. There's last I heard there was a mask mandate in the town. There's definitely a mask mandate in the show, and that's to keep everybody safe. So come on out and have a nice, happy, as clear air as possible show with us up in the mountains of North Carolina, ski town. Yep. We're just hoping it doesn't snow a ton. We do want to be able to get there. What were some of your highlights there, Dolio?
The part where we got to perform. I think it was dope that all the venues were really dope. Like there were 3 really nice theaters, like the balconies, and a couple of them. One of them, it was like the first full capacity show since like the pandemic started, and the other one was the first show they had there since Hurricane.
Yep, that's right.
And yeah, the sound was great, and all of the venues, the people working the venues were super nice and super professional and on point. They made sure everything went smoothly. It was just good all around. The crowd was dope. They were happy to be there. They were, actually, was it Virginia? Where the old dude, it was an old head, got down and started clogging in the front row, like in the aisle. And we was like, yeah, that's what we're going for. That guy. And then the Jersey show, the little kid that was just running around.
Yes.
The kid was just definitely enjoying the show.
There were so many kids at that show. They were there with their parents. They were there with their grandparents. It was a very multi-generational show. And like, we're used to that, but it was super noticeable at this show. And the kids were dancing up a storm. And you don't often see kids and their parents dancing excitedly to the exact same music. Like, that's usually either the kids or the parents are kind of putting it on, like, for the benefit of the other, right? Like, if the parents are dancing to, I don't know, Baby Shark or whatever, it's probably not that the parents are super into Baby Shark. It's probably the kid is into it. The parents are like, okay, this is cute, I'll do it. But in this case, everybody was dancing to it because they were all excited about the music and really into it. And that was so cool to see.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You can see it on our Instagram, in fact. If you go to @Gangstagrass on Instagram, I think it's the most recent post, second most recent post, has a great video of the crowd and the band in South Orange, New Jersey at SoPac. That was the venue that was injured severely by Hurricane Ida, I believe it was. And they had to do a bunch of rebuilding before our show. Just in time. Hey, and it's Melanie. What up, Melanie? Thank you for resubscribing.
That's the sound of somebody subscribing to our Twitch channel. So yeah.
Yeah. What about what were the food highlights for you guys?
I don't know. It was kind of hazy. It's like when you get to that point where you're like so full, so we're like, you don't remember. We ate a lot of beef.
Right, but
yeah, I don't remember which night is which, but I remember there was a lot of brisket.
All a haze of food.
Right, I think that was the first night. I want to say, I think the barbecue was the first night in Frederick, Maryland. I think that's right. Yeah,
because I know what happened is that we saw the menus of the places they were supposing for us to eat at.
What was the thing that me and Farrell were going to get the first night that they didn't have?
It was some kind of salmon thing, right?
Yeah, but it had a weird name. Like we got it because of that.
Really? That was why.
Yeah, I know I had the brisket, like the barbecue smoked brisket, and then there was the brisket chili.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right. And I was deeply nervous that the people who had eaten a ton of barbecue might not actually make it to stage. Like y'all were like on the floor, like bellies in the air. I don't know if I can make
Yeah,
it,
we all needed
sleeves.
naps, but
But they were fine by the show.
a little bit of coffee and some push-ups, and we were back in business. But I
Yes.
definitely did sleep like a baby.
Second night, I had some good fish.
Brisket coma.
Mhm.
Where was that? Was that New Jersey that had the kettle corn?
That was Richmond. That was Chester.
Oh yeah,
Chester,
Richmond had the
VA.
kettle corn and the Haitian coffee. I mean the Haitian chocolate.
Yeah, they took our requests for cool green room food and local specialties very seriously. They're also the ones that had the growlers of the
Yeah, the local brew.
yeah, Blind Dog Brewery.
Oh my God, that strawberry blonde.
Oh, the strawberry blonde.
And surprisingly, they had an IPA that didn't hate.
That's right, a hazy IPA.
Yeah, the hazy IPA wasn't super duper hop forward to the point to where you just couldn't really tolerate it, but it was definitely good. But yeah, the Irish Red was pretty good too.
The Irish Red was good. They were very carefully crafted beers. You could tell they took time with it. And P.S., there is a real blind dog at that Blind Dog Brewery, which is apparently just about a block away from the Parkinson Center for the Arts in Chester, VA. So if you're down there, check out the Blind Dog Brewery. We can vouch. They have growlers of spectacular beers. We did an episode of Brews and Cues with Danjo that we have on one of these phones here. I think it's this one.
The chocolate challenge.
The chocolate challenge. What's
I
your favorite
remember
chocolate?
now from the first night in Maryland. It was the Magic Carp.
The Magic Carp. That's right. That is what it was.
That's a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. But it disappeared. It flew away. The Magic Carp did not appear. So you had to get something far less interestingly named. I guess somebody else caught that one. Yeah, great crowds, great food, really excellent hospitality, very cool venues, everybody awesome about the masks and just being careful and being thoughtful with everybody else, which was just tremendous. Gives me a lot of hope for the tour going forward. And you can see down there in the lower left of your screen, we have some of the dates will be coming soon too. That Philadelphia show is 6 days away. That's this coming Thursday, the Brooklyn Bowl in Philly.
Philly is gonna be bonkers.
Bonkers.
Morning, y'all. It's gonna be crazy.
This is a dream team lineup in Philadelphia.
That's right.
Yeah, our son and I have been wanting to do something like this for a long time. And, it had been a while since we did a show in Philly. And then pandemic hit, and then we definitely didn't do any shows in Philly. So now we're coming back to Philly full throttle.
Dola, you wanna tell everybody, in case they missed it in previous live streams when our son was super excited about it, who is on the bill with us for that show at Brooklyn Bowl?
The Lost Cause.
Reef the Lost Cause.
Philly rap legend, international battle rap legend, Reef the Lost Cause. He is an absolute beast on the mic, an excellent showman. When he gets on that stage, it's going to be... He's basically going to set the stage on fire. So we're going to have to wear our fireproof boots if we're going to get on stage after him. But we're going to bring it like we always bring it. But it's going to be turned up to 11 because we...
Yeah, I got to throw some gritties on the screen now.
Yeah, it's going to get real gritty. It's going to get real gritty.
Oh, is our emote wall working?
I think it delays sometimes. So, it's there. It's there.
Okay.
It's there. At some point when we are least expecting it, dozens of gritties will go flying across the screen. There they are.
It's going to be a really, really Philly show.
It'll be a very, very Philly show. I wonder if we could actually get gritty.
Oh, man.
Let's try. Doesn't somebody know the mascot person?
I don't know. Our son and I think we might have spotted him one night before practice here at the studio. Remember, we saw that orange Maserati parked out in front of that Sprouts around the corner. And then we just we were like, that's got to be Gritty. That's got to be Gritty. No, who else would park a bright orange Maserati in South Philly? It's got to be Gritty. It's got to be Gritty. Mm-hmm. So maybe, maybe we can get the word out to Gritty that Gangstagrass is coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds right to me.
Get some Gangstagrass. Gritty means
some
gritty grass.
Everybody on Twitch and YouTube, ask us anything you want, and we'll make up some lies.
Yes. We've got Gordon Allen in the Twitch, who is looking forward to the Manchester and Liverpool gigs. Thank you for staying up briefly to say hi to us, Gordon. We're really excited about Liverpool and Manchester, too. We loved Manchester last time, but, Liverpool, this is really exciting. We're definitely going to pose for a picture in a crosswalk.
Yeah, Manchester, we're going to get a chance to kick it with my homie, who actually, gave us the whole Manchester treatment last time we were there. Mm-hmm. But he now is in the States doing his residency, where he is flying all the way back to Manchester for the Manchester show.
He took us to the loudest bar I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, and we ended up watching the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah,
the Super Bowl watched us.
It was so gigantic.
Because we weren't really watching it.
No.
We were just there because it was the only place that was still serving beer after that late at night, because it was Super Bowl time in the States, which means it was a ridiculous amount. It was the ridiculous hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's a few hours past the witching hour. It's the ridiculous hour.
That's right. It was the ridiculous hour.
And it was the only place that was still open and serving beers, and it was because they were watching American football. I don't even remember who was playing because I didn't even care.
Not at all.
We was just out hanging. But and we're also going to kick it with some, at least one of my classmates from high school who now lives in London.
Well, that's exciting.
So.
Pensacola represent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm super excited about this whole tour. You know what I'm really excited about? One of the many, many things that I'm really excited about. Oh, I should fix this. So Virginia Beach, just so you know, we got that postponed. Got to do a couple other things around Louisville and Lexington, and so it just made sense to postpone Virginia Beach. So all you folks who are excited about coming to that show, don't worry. We're still going to have the show. Your tickets are good for the next show, and if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, make sure that as soon as we announce the new date, you go out and get those tickets, because it is going to be phenomenal. We're really excited to come to Virginia Beach. Just not going to do it in the next few days, as we had been planning. But we are still doing Philly and DC. DC is 2 shows. And Boone, North Carolina, and Knoxville at the Bijou Theater. How cool is that going to be?
That's going to be very cool.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the Bijou Theater. It's got all this cool history.
Yeah.
And then headliners in Louisville, and a couple of spots in Missouri, and a bunch of spots in Wisconsin and Minnesota and Iowa and Ohio. And then we round out this part of the tour in Winchester, Virginia. And then we're headed down to Tennessee for Bluegrass Underground. Then we're going to head out to Colorado and the Pacific Northwest. We have a bunch of great stuff, couple shows getting added there. So keep an eye on gangstagrass.com. And you'll see those tour dates. Then we head over to the UK and do that whole thing. So, yeah. Yup. Very excited. So you want me to ask you guys a couple of questions to help the folks here get to know you a little bit better?
Sure.
Okay. So, my first question is, Dolio, what are you doing?
Oh, a little bit of woodworking. That's the background. Hold on.
Well, oh yeah, I'm doing woodworking too. So is Wrench. We're all.
No, I mean,
doing woodworking.
not the This kind of woodwork.
I'm doing underwater basket weaving right now.
Yeah, I just finished cleaning up and vacuuming up all the sawdust and whatnot.
Nice. Yeah, you got a lot to get done before you head out on the road. So, have you guys ever heard of the 36 questions?
Yeah, that was a great Wu-Tang album.
I heard of the 21 questions.
21 questions. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, we added 15 and then made some outlandish claims about them. So, like, some years ago, the New York Times did this big thing called the 36 questions to something like to make you fall in love with anyone or something nutty like that. Hey, we have our son, the voice of reason, in the
Make
house.
everybody fall in love with us.
That's the plan.
Force them to.
That's right. You got to. That's how celebrity works these days. That's the thing. You force them to fall in love with you, and then they follow you on social media, and then other things happen. What is it? The underpants gnomes, and then and then profit.
Don't nobody love nobody. What Snoop say? We don't love these. It's like.
Yep. That's right. We out the door. So, there's 36 questions, and I just think they're nice. They're nice, cool questions, and they kind of get deeper as you go. So the first one is kind of generic, but is sort of interesting nonetheless. So I'm going to ask each one of you if you could invite anyone in the world to dinner. And it does not specify living or dead, so I think we're going to go ahead and say living. It's got to be a person who you could theoretically actually sit at a dinner table with without breaking the laws of physics or time travel or anything like that. If you could invite anyone in the world to dinner, who would it be? Wrench, give it to me.
Man, so fast. If I could invite anyone to dinner right now?
Anyone. You just have to invite them. You don't have to have dinner with them. I'm kidding. You actually the intention is to have dinner with them. Oh, this probably won't surprise you. My answer is inflow. Right. For those who don't know,
my current I don't know, not obsession, but I've been listening to stuff that this guy has produced for the last 2 years, and it's keeping me going.
Word. All right.
Okay.
All right. How about you, Arson? You could invite anyone in the world to dinner. Who would it be?
Questlove.
Questlove.
That'd be a good combo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It would take me like 5 minutes to stop, like, kind of fawning. But I
lived in my neighborhood. That could have happened a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I've met him a couple times. Like when he used to spin down at what was that place? Philo's.
Yeah, it was Philo's.
Yeah, he used to spin down at Philo's, and he would like play his Soul Train tapes while he was spinning records. And it was the greatest thing in the world, man. It was like some of the most hip hop moments ever. Just a whole bunch of cats in there, just what I mean, and not a lot of dancing going on, but just a bunch of people just chilling. They had food in there, and just a whole bunch of head nodding. Man, it was great. It was the best.
That's a small spot too.
It was a very narrow space. Like I can't imagine people were want to go anywhere near it in the COVID times. But back in the day, man, it would get real packed in there, like because you had to walk down the steps, and there was a point where they had to have the bouncers like block the steps because cats would just come in and just want to be in that space and just stand on the steps. It would get so packed. And then they added sound upstairs too, so you could be upstairs in the restaurant part chilling and listening to it. But the vibe was really downstairs, man. It was magnificent. Like I hope that
he did Fluid a few times too.
Yeah, he did Fluid. Oh God, he did Fluid a bunch of times. The last John. Oh my God, was that the greatest party I've ever encountered in my life? Our good friend Stacy, she used to do this thing called they would throw it's the John party, and the last one when Fluid was closing, like everybody came to spin. It was so popping. I left at 2:30 when Jazzy Jeff was just getting there to start spinning. They went till like 4:30 that night, man. I was dead at that point. I was like, I can't. I got there early. I got there like 9.
That's past my bedtime.
Yeah, I got there like 9 o'clock, and like Cosmo Baker was there spinning. Rich Medina spun. Mike Nice spun, and then Questlove, and then Jeff. I think Pete Rock was there too. I think it was Pete and Jeff. Pete was there. It was Pete, and then Questlove, and then Jeff was last. And I was like, I can't anymore. I was dead. But it was, oh God, it was beautiful, man. It was, I hope that I feel about it the way like Studio 54 people felt about like rocking out down there. Like it was, it was marvelous. It's definitely Questlove.
Okay. Wow, great answer. All right, Dolio the Sleuth. If you could invite anyone in the world to dinner, who would it be?
Anthony Bourdain.
Wait a minute.
Sadly, we can't.
What?
Anthony Bourdain is no longer with us.
Yeah, no. You said if anybody, you said living. You didn't say living or dead. Right?
I did specify. Now it's okay. I'll give you.
You said it had to be living.
I did. Yes, it has to be somebody that you could actually invite to dinner without breaking the laws of physics or time travel. But Bourdain is a nice choice. I mean, I do believe you guys would have an exquisite dinner, if nothing else.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. I mean, funny things. I've had dinner with most of the interesting folks I would want to have dinner with.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh damn. That is hard. It's hard now because I was like, oh yeah, let's see. Because I'm trying to think of. Because it would have to be somebody that, Patti LaBelle.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Patti LaBelle.
I like that.
I would like to pick her brain about a lot of things, but also I would love to talk recipes. Recipes and music. There's that nice intersection of music, culture, and cooking that you get with Patti.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
On point.
That's a great choice.
The food would be on point.
Farrah and I were doing this in the car the other day on the way home from the SoPac show to keep ourselves awake because it was a late night. And there's like a lot of good answers for this, but I actually think I'd go with Marla Gibbs.
Marla Gibbs.
Marla Gibbs, my hero.
That is
I don't think I'd
random.
I probably wouldn't get no eating done. You'd be too busy laughing.
Exactly.
Marla Gibbs, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a great one.
Yep. Let's see. Okay. Next.
Marla Gibbs.
Right?
I didn't even consider that.
Right? That's okay. That's okay. Because we'll have this dinner together. So we'll have Inflo there, and we'll have Questlove there, and we'll have Patti LaBelle there, and we'll have Marla Gibbs there, and it will be a spectacular conversation and meal. And we should put it up on the live stream just for kicks. So next question, and this is a fun one, which is I think we're kind of an unusual crew to be answering this, but would you like to be famous? In what way? Arson. I know. This is question number 2. Would you like to be famous? In what way?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I'm trying, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Seems that way.
Who's going first?
Arson?
I don't know what famous means.
Sure. Yeah, we don't know what famous means. Well, it's saying in what way, so you can go ahead and define it. It's like if it's I'd like to be famous for that Nobel Prize I won, that counts.
That would be lovely. I guess I'd like to be famous for a positive impact on the world. I guess that's a lot of what I do is aiming towards that. I kind of fortunately have established a reputation for helping people.
Ooh, there's some good answers to these questions in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
The dinner question.
Yeah.
We got Bob Dylan,
Angela Davis.
Angela Davis.
Yeah.
Already
That's
did that.
great.
Heck yeah.
Already did that.
Kirby Recker, I said Angela Davis, and Delirium question mark said, nice one. I used to serve her coffee at SFSU.
Ooh.
Wow.
Interesting. Nice. Yeah. She can come to dinner too. That'd be great. Open door policy for all the awesome people that people on the team stream tonight want to invite to dinner.
She's actually a pretty good dancer too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm taking it that everybody here would generally kind of share Stolio's answer. Famous for making the world better.
Well, I feel like I want to be famous in order to be able to make the world better. I want the power that could come with it to have your words be amplified, where you can get onto platforms, you can have a bigger audience to say things, and when you do, it's newsworthy. So then it gets repeated and whatnot. And kind of tangentially connected to that, another reason that I would like to be famous is because there's so many things that would just work so much easier if you're famous, because the fact that somebody famous is doing it would make it newsworthy. So we come up with some zany hijinks, right? And if a really famous person did them, that would be press release hole in one, right? The fact that a famous person did it, there's a lot of things that you can think of that's like, this would be so funny, this would be so viral, blah, blah, blah. And that's only true if the person doing it is famous enough for it to be something that people want to report on because somebody famous did it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Okay. Great point. Well said. All right. Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you are going to say and why? How about you, Dolio? Do you ever rehearse what you're going to say before you make a call?
No. Funny thing, and this is a bit of a confession, I have a weird fear of telephones.
Telephobia?
Telephobia. Telephobia.
I don't know, and it's weird because talking on the phone has been my job at least a couple times in life.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's something. I don't know if it's just talking on the phone. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got used to talking to people in person, and then when it came to separating it by a device, it just kind of got weird for me. So now I just use headsets all the time, so it doesn't feel like I'm holding a phone.
So it's something about the
Interesting.
the actual
It's the actual holding of the phone.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
That is intriguing.
Because I'm talking to you, but you're in my hand, but I know you weigh a lot more than this little thing. Your voice is coming out of it, so that's confusing.
Yeah, it makes it easier if I'm not I'll do speaker a lot because of that.
Yeah, I like speaker. Speaker makes it a lot better. It's still tough to know when somebody else is trying to talk, though.
Yeah. And I don't like voicemails. It's okay to get them. I just don't like leaving. Especially now that text messaging exists. I'm like, okay, you ain't get that. I can just send you the message.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't understand. I never really rehearsed a phone call.
It's been a while since I have. I probably should more often, but I tend to just jump in. I will tell you, if you want to throw anybody off who has been rehearsing and you get a phone call, just answer by saying, "You dare to call me?"
Yeah, like telemarketers who go through the script. I used to, just to get, because they used to always call you around dinner time. So I'm like, for interrupting my dinner, I'm going to try to sell you something. It was like, yeah, so I put you down for like 5 of these, right?
Yo, did I tell you about the boy I called Scam?
Scam likely?
Yeah. I was like, yo, Scam, what's up, dude? He was like, what you say? I was like, yo, it's my man Scam, right? He said Scam likely. He's like, this is no scam, you bastard. And hung up the phone on me. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, yo, did you just snap on me? You called me, bro.
Yeah. I messed with a telemarketer at one point, and apparently they weren't allowed to hang up on me.
Aw.
But, eventually I could just hear it in their voice. Just please let me die.
Just let me go, please. But I guess the short answer is no.
Yeah, I'm with Wrench. I've never actually rehearsed, but upon reading the question, it occurs to me that perhaps some things would go better if I did do that. Maybe. I don't know. It seems like a tough thing to do, a spontaneous conversation. Like, how do you even rehearse for that? I'm not really sure.
So it said Fred Armisen and Dolio would be my choices.
Yeah.
That'd be a great dinner. We definitely
that
have
would
to
be.
do it in Portland. We could do that in Portland.
Yeah, does he live in Portland?
I mean, I think he's from Portland. I
needs
don't know if
to.
he still lives there.
Huh?
Good.
He needs to.
Find out what he likes.
I know the dream of the 90s
We'll
out there.
cook. Gangstagrass will cook food.
That's right. That's right.
Actually, the Portland fans know that Gangstagrass will cook for you.
Just like we did at the Manch. So when I first met my friend who owned the Manch, who brought us in that time that we had the last minute cancellation due to the fires, and ended up staying at the Manch and having the big VIP party. So the first time I met him, maybe a year or so before that, maybe longer. I remember I had fairly recently watched Portlandia for the first time, and I had thought it was just outlandish. It's just ridiculous. Like, that's not. Come on. I mean, there's a joke, and then there's taking a joke too far. And when you take the
before
joke
you had been to Portland.
too far, yeah. When you take the joke
I had been to Portland
too
already
far,
when Portlandia came on, and when it first came out, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is Portland!"
Nailed it. Yep.
So that was the thing that got me.
Nailed it.
Like, there was that sketch where they, where the guy's walking down the street and somebody's like, "Hey, come to my DJ set tonight." And then he goes to his friend's house. And his friend is like, "Hey, come to my DJ set tonight." And then another friend comes over and is like, "Hey, come to my DJ set tonight." And it's like, okay, enough of this. So the first time I met our friend who owned the Manch, one of the first things he said to me was, "Come to my DJ set tonight." And then he invited 2 friends over, and they were each like, "Come to my DJ set tonight." And I was just like, you have got to be kidding. This is a real thing. How is that possible? And our waiter was like, "Come to my DJ set tonight." Unbelievable.
That's what I've heard from Portland people. They're like, yeah, Portlandia, that's actually kind of how it is here.
Yeah. It's sort of like watching Alpha House if you watched it now. If you watched it then, you'd be like, "Oh, this is outlandish." And you watch it now and you're like, well, I mean, they probably could have gone a little further with this, given that they basically just hit accuracy. Okay, this is a nice question. What, Wrench, would constitute a perfect day for you?
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
You got one day?
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to make it on another planet to get more hours, that is permitted.
My eyes open just as I'm falling out of the plane.
Okay.
Skydive onto the earth, land my parachute, let's say in northern New Mexico, have some chili rellenos, go into a studio, produce some music for a while, hang out with Gangstagrass with some food that we cook, probably Dolio, cooking up some fish and stuff.
Yeah.
Dan making some cinnamon rolls or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we watch a movie together. It's the funniest movie I've ever seen, and everybody else is just loving it too. And then we go out that night and we see We see some concerts. We see the Roots,
Yeah.
and we see Dead Presidents,
Nice.
Dead Prez, yeah, and a whole bunch of good musicians. Sturgill Simpson is there jamming.
Definitely.
Bella White and Tyler Childers, and Questlove is playing with everybody.
Yep.
The Dap Kings are backing everybody up.
Yo, that sounds pretty dope.
And then we go out to a secret hideaway ice cream and donut shop where I get. It's basically we go to we go to What's Beef actually.
Oh snap!
For the nightcap, and I get a Nutella milkshake, and that's our chill out to wrap up the night.
Sounds amazing. How about you, Dolio? What would constitute a perfect day for you?
That's hard. That's a hard one.
Anybody who wants to skip any of these, by the way, you have permission. I'm not going to put
I
any
have
of
to
you on the
skip it
spot.
because I don't know.
All right. You can skip it. You can skip it.
I've
That's
had a
fine.
lot of pretty perfect days, and they've all been very different.
That's how I feel too. That's like when Farrah and I were doing this, I realized I started describing a day I had already had. I go to JPL and have a killer behind the scenes tour in the morning, walking past people who were like, "How do you get into that room?" And us being like, try the visitor center, and walking right in. And then going to a They Might Be Giants show after that, it's just like lots of perfection.
So for instance, I'll describe one of these perfect days.
Okay. All right.
It was the summer. I think it was early August, Glasgow. I think the European Games were going on. It was me, my wife, and my son. We went to, can't remember the name of the park, but it's near the quay. And they had a Ferris wheel. And I think a carousel. And brisket. Smoked brisket. And if anybody knows me, brisket will make any day perfect. But the fact that I was there, it was a perfect day, weather-wise, out in the summertime, in one of my favorite cities on the planet, in nature, and with fun stuff to do and cool things to eat. We went there, hung out, got to kick it, had a good time, ride a few rides, eat cool foods, and made our way off back down to this, I think, Venezuelan spot near George Square. And it had some good, fresh, hot churros con chocolate.
Oh, yum.
And curled up, watched the next movie with some cocoa and fell asleep.
That sounds lovely. Let's see. Apparently
I like
we
to
are.
say that in my fantasy day, when
Yes.
we're watching a movie, Sleeves and Dolio are like paying attention to the movie the whole time.
That's That's where the stretching comes in.
I also want to point out one thing
I didn't
about
fall asleep at all.
I want to point out one thing about the perfect day that Sleeves had. I don't think you got to finish describing it because you got in a little bit, and it included apparently the important detail that you have a special status that other people are jealous of that you get to taunt them with.
I didn't say
that
that
was an
exactly. I didn't say that exactly.
You didn't put those words on it, but that was there, I think.
What?
So that wouldn't have been in the perfect day that I planned. It just so happened that happened in the perfect day that I had. We were walking into a part of and Dillium question mark asked, was that JPL or JBL? It's JPL, the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and our dear friend who we've had on this live stream before, Scott Maxwell, gave me an amazing behind the scenes tour I think the only one of us who hasn't been on that tour yet is Dolio, because he was out from that tour, but we'll do it again. Don't worry. We went to go to this part of the lab, and as we were walking in, this guy who worked there and was giving a friend a tour was trying to show his friend around, and said to Scott, where can you take visitors here? And and his response was, well, the visitor center is great, take them to the visitor center. And we just proceeded to walk right into where they had not been able to go. And I felt special. That was cool. We got to see a lot of neat stuff, but you guys did too when we went there. We won't talk about the peanuts, but you guys know.
Yeah.
We had Martian peanuts.
And then exactly. And then we went to see They Might Be Giants at I believe it was Anaheim House of Blues, and do all the cool stuff around there. Check out all the behind the scenes stuff there, and that's basically a perfect day. Oh, the other thing that happened that day was walking down the street in Pasadena. And it turns out that, I don't know if this is all of LA, but definitely in the city of Pasadena, there's a law, at least there was at the time, I don't see why there wouldn't be now, where if fruit is hanging over the sidewalk or over the street, if fruit from a tree on a private property is hanging over a common, property, you can eat it. That's fine. And so there was this amazing grapefruit tree in somebody's backyard, and there were these beautiful grapefruits hanging over the sidewalk, and Scott kind of got one for me, and it was the most delicious grapefruit. You guys know I love grapefruit. It was the most delicious grapefruit I've ever had. I ate it to a shell. I have never eaten an entire grapefruit with zero pulp left inside. That is how perfect this grapefruit was. It was yellow. It was, definitely a perfect
I kind of want Pasadena to do something about the dates.
About the dates, yes, exactly. Yeah, we still need to get them to do that. So if you're in Pasadena and you have some connections with the city council, we definitely want to talk with them about fixing the methane problem that they have on their hands with all these dates falling out of these trees. Yep. Yeah, we have plans. We have big plans. Okay, so the next one I'm actually going to skip because it's so silly to ask this question of this particular group of people. So I will say when Pharaoh and I asked each other, the response was, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. So, when did you last sing to yourself or to someone else? So we're just going to skip that because I'm going to assume that it was sometime within the last hour and, at least within the last day. And I know for a fact within the last week. So we will skip that one.
Skip which one?
When was the last time you sang to yourself or to someone else?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
That was today.
Exactly.
Well, we're musicians, so it happens every day.
So we will assume that we know that.
Yeah, and those of us who have kids have no choice.
Right. By the way, we do have a recommendation in the YouTube chat from Swimming Fishies. That is a very cute name, by the way. That we should come try Frost Donuts when we come to Seattle. So, Frost Donuts.
We often do hit a lot of donut places when we're on the West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast, for some reason, their donuts are just...
Yeah. They know the donuts. So, did I get to see the Pasadena Parrots while I was there? I don't think I did get to see the Pasadena Parrots while I was there. That sounds like a soccer team or something, right? Like a WNBA team or something. The Pasadena Parrots, an Arena League football team, something like that. But no, I did not see parrots real or imagined. That sounds cool though. So the next question is. And let's see, I think we still don't have Arson back yet. So I'm going to start with Dolio, and I'm curious what you think here. If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want?
mind or body of a 30-year-old?
Welcome back, our son. Yes, if you are able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want?
Body.
I'd say body, because the old people in my family are whip smart.
That's exactly what Pharaoh and I said too.
Something you cannot trade 90 years of experience and living for youth. It's like,
Yeah. Give me a 30-year-old body any day.
What about you, Wrench?
Yeah, I'd say body too.
Okay.
Like, you could have you got a 30-year-old mind in a body that's 90 and has trouble, keeping its mouth shut and, not shaking. Like, what are you gonna do with that?
yeah.
You ever see people walking around like this? Everybody's just staring at me.
Once or twice.
You make an excellent point, Wrench. Okay. I'm going to skip this one, and we can talk about it in the van sometime. I think it's something we don't want to commit to YouTubery. This one is name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common. Usually there's in a group of 4. Usually it would be 2. So how about we just go around and say it about each person? So,
Things?
yeah. So we'll just you can say a thing to make a total of 3.
That the 4 of us have in common?
Oh, you could do that, or you could go to each person individually. Do however you are persuaded. If we all do it a little differently, that's okay. Name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common. Go ahead and interpret that question however you want in the circumstances.
My background I have in common.
Yeah.
That's right, because we're all woodworking.
Yes. 3 things I have in common with you.
Yeah, Delia?
You've all got really weird senses of humor, which I appreciate. Like that I really do.
That's very close to what I was going to say.
The things that amuse me, like most people will be like, are you okay? And it amuses all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on more than one occasion, our son and I will tell each other a joke without speaking at all.
Without speaking.
And we just be cracking the hell up. I look at him, he look at me, and we just be like,
yep.
Like, what are you 2 loons doing back there?
Don't even worry about it. We know what we're doing, and that's what's important.
And not just a weird sense of humor, but I was going to say a sense of being able to enjoy the weirdness of situations, of being in weird situations, because this band tends to regularly end up in situations and places that make you go, what? But we're all saying what with a smile on our face because we're just like, what the hell? And including the example of standing on the stage of America's Got Talent, cracking each other up. We're supposed to be standing still and quiet while they rehearse something and set up the lights and stuff. And we're there acting like a bunch of jackasses together, all of us.
Well, we actually got a few of the other acts in on the lunacy. Remember, Maddie was over there cracking up. The guys from One Accord were also.
Oh my God, we had the whole place cracking the fuck up. It was amazing.
Well, you did sing "Greatest American Hero" at one point up there.
We did. We did.
Did we do that there?
We totally did do that.
We've done that a bunch of places.
Yeah, we do that a lot. It's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good song, and I don't know. It's a good song for breaking the tension.
It really is. It really, really is.
If it's just dead silence and there's like thick energy in the air. If somebody's just looking happened to me, and then everyone starts harmonizing, and everyone's like, okay, the world's a better place right now.
All right, yeah. And you're around your people
When they join in.
Yeah. Like the people that are looking at you weird are like, I don't understand. I don't get this. That's not your people. That's not your people. And the interesting thing about that is there's probably a song like that for every sort of, maybe not even generational thing, but I guess every like sort of 30 years, right? So I guess what was it, generation 20? We consider generation 20?
They're getting faster.
Yeah, but I would imagine like there's a I don't know, for the kids now, there's like a BTS song that's like that. And if they're just kind of hanging out and somebody just starts going, dynamite, like the whole room will be in on the thing and start doing it, right? And that's one of those songs. You know what I mean? And if you're with your people and somebody randomly just starts going, believe it or not, somebody will say, I'm walking on air. And then the whole thing will sort of build. And if not, you're not with your people.
Yeah, we had we had a moment like that with The Power of Love. And
oh God.
in Toronto or Montreal?
That was
Toronto.
That was Toronto. Yes.
We got like the entire floor of a hotel.
Floor of the hotel, dude.
I think some of the stairwell.
That was at like 3 o'clock in the morning. That shit was
Power of Love jam.
That was impressive.
I was like hoping that somehow word would get to Huey Lewis about that. Be like, believe what just happened in Toronto. 3 o'clock in the morning.
And for those who did not know, that is why the Gangstagrass band is named Huey, after Huey Lewis and the News. True facts that you learn right here.
It's actually a dual Huey. It's after Huey Lewis and Huey P. Newton.
And Huey P. Newton.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Huey P. Lewis.
Black Panther leader.
Oh, that's,
basically the same guy.
That's cute. I like that. Yeah, exactly. That's the
Tell 'em
secret.
apart.
That's secret identity stuff.
Yeah.
That's secret identity stuff.
Huey P. Lewis. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing about it is that every time that we get in a city where we end up flying into the city and the van we get looks like Huey, but it's just different, it ends up being like the Louis.
Right. White Huey in
Dewey.
Los Angeles.
White Huey.
Yeah, we had White Huey, we had Dewey, we had Louis.
Yeah, because those it's either Chevy Express or the GMC version, which is identical.
Yep.
Yes.
That's pretty standard, and we're trying to go with those over the Ford
Transit.
Transits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick with the classics.
Exactly. Well, the Transit has these like weird, not bucket seats, but not bucket seats. They're like bench bucket seats, which is just sort of the worst of both worlds. You know,
Bench bucket.
right? Because you can't really like lie down on them like a bench seat because they're all bumpy because they're trying to sort of be a bucket seat, but they're not a bucket seat. And then the other weird thing about the Transit is that it's so tall and skinny that it kind of always feels like it's about to tip over. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Find it unnerving. And it is very tall, so it's actually also harder to park than the Chevy Express. We have strong viewies. Oh, that's so funny. Betty Lynn says, just wait till you get screwy.
Uh-oh.
I think we did. I think that was the van we returned in LA. The one that like didn't have a working turn signal and like you couldn't open the door from the inside and like the air conditioning was hanging down. Yeah. Yeah, we returned Screwy.
We did. We met Screwy.
Yes.
We said bye, Screwy.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Also, Swimming Fishies says that I should try pomelo, but I actually have tried pomelo also right off the tree. And it's all right, but it actually is too sweet for me. I'm very into the sour of grapefruit. I really like give me tart. Give me tart. I want a pucker. That's my feeling on the grapefruit. All right.
Yeah, a grapefruit is actually a hybrid.
What's it a hybrid of?
A grapes and fruit.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. It's a hybrid between a pomelo and another.
Oh, so it went that way, not the other way.
Right.
Oh, intriguing. I want to know everything about this.
How many questions out of the 36 are we in?
This one about name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common is number 8.
Okay.
As I said, we're not going to get through all 36, and that's okay because they get kind of like deep and intimate toward the end. And we did skip one. 2. We kind of skipped 2. Let's see. I would say that yeah, I like the whole goofy sense of humor thing for sure. And let's see. I won't say who each of these apply to, but with one of you, I have in common the fact that every time I get into a room, my suitcase explodes, and just all of my stuff ends up all over everything. Let's see. With one of you, I have in common a great appreciation of They Might Be Giants. And with one of you, I have in common a philosophy of driving. Not entirely. It's not 100% overlap. We have a couple disagreements, but as a general matter, strong views about whether people should be in the left lane or not at any given time and things like that. Yeah. All right. You guys ready for the next question, or do you have more commonalities you would like to point out?
I feel like the commonalities would take all night.
They would.
All damn night.
Yeah, true.
They would. All right.
We didn't even touch on like how each of us is deeply touched by music and has this strong relationship to music that has had a big impact on our lives.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. And an ability to be in the right place at the right time, such that we found each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pharaoh and I talked a bit about music. Speaking of which, we have an idea for a little thing to do for the Joko cruise in advance. So we'll talk with you guys about that. So the next one is, for what in your life, our son, the voice of reason, do you feel most grateful? For what in your life do you feel most grateful?
House. This house that I'm sitting in. My mom and dad, when they came up to this neighborhood, like they nailed it. Like it's close enough to everything that I needed to get to. Never been a lot of crime around here. I'm getting to be a little bit more now. Some of these knuckleheads out here in the streets. Most importantly, though, like there's never been any severe enough weather that it was like dangerous or damaging. Even when last year, when there were tornadoes a couple miles up the road, they came nowhere near me. When it really, really snows, like it's never been enough where I'm like, I'm trapped. I can get out. And it's the Northeast, so there's no forest fires, there's no earthquakes, none of that craziness. Like it's.
Is it on high ground? It's not one of those. The only time I ever had any flooding was when my hot water heater burst. You know what I mean? There's a little bit in the back just because the house is a little old that I can get fixed. Nothing major, like none of it. But it's never been anything real damaging. And so the unfortunate part, like when my mom passed away, her insurance paid off the house. This house has been paid off since I was 10 years old. Mm-hmm. And my dad was able to, he put it in me and my brother's name. And
God only knows what'll ever happen to it. Maybe I'll stay here and maybe I'll die here and, pass it on to my kids, or, me and my brother will sell it and split it to, give it like whatever. You know what I'm saying? But just the idea of what I've been able to do, never having to worry about needing a place to live. I've moved out and kind of come home, but I've always had a place if I needed to be. So that, and my kids are able to be here and all that kind of stuff. This house.
I would say the same thing. I would say I'm most grateful for our son's house.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to put words in our son's mouth, but I have actually heard certain words come out of your mouth on many an occasion, very eloquently, about the deep gratitude that you have for your children.
Yes, that was what I was expecting to hear as well. But
Yeah,
they're they're in the house, so I think he was including them in the general package of the house.
Yeah, I mean, these jokers, like, there's so little I have to worry about. Like, I talk to other parents and, like, the stuff that they have to worry about with their kids, and I'm like, I've never had to worry about that. Not once. And I'm lucky and very, very grateful for that. But these guys ain't nothing. My oldest son is asleep on the couch right now, and little man's playing NBA 2K. Amy's in Chicago getting her college on. You know what I mean? No worries with these guys. I'm lucky for that. But I'm responsible for a lot of that too. So it's hard to be grateful for stuff that you did. They get their ass kicked if they're acting up. So I'm partially responsible for that. As far as being really grateful for like something that I'm blessed with, this motherfucking structure. Although there are times when I want to burn this motherfucker down and start over. There's so much stuff in here.
Yeah, stuff is a problem. I'm not grateful for stuff.
Stuff and things.
I'm grateful for my stuff, but I would be more grateful if somebody could help me come and organize it. That would rule.
A word.
That would rule. Like, my vinyls are alphabetized, and that's about where the organizational structure ends.
Say word.
Mine used to be alphabetized. Now they're arranged by BPM.
Which is also a great choice. Yep.
Did you really just say that?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Nerd!
You want to know that's straight practicality.
That is extraordinary nerd, man. I love
practicality.
Wait a minute. Whole albums have multiple BPMs.
Well, the album stuff, I have a section for albums. Those are by genre. And then they're not alphabetical. They're by genre, but then like sort of like covered, sort of. Like my R&B ones, it's funny. I actually have an R&B section where I have all the ones where the singer is like,
yes.
Like that. Well, because that's when you know the album is fire.
Yeah, we're gonna need you to get a picture of all those laid out next to each other.
Yes.
Yeah, I got. Was it Can't Slow Down? There's a Teddy Pendergrass one. There's Thriller. A Luther Vandross one like that. It's quite a few of them. That was the one. If they hit that pose, you knew the album was gonna be fire. I think I have a Jeffrey Osborne one like that.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm grateful for a lot of things. Probably the most grateful is the person that's in the next room right over there.
Yep.
Who I'm doing all this woodworking for. Because, I would obviously be grateful for my kids, but I wouldn't have for my kid. I wouldn't have my kid for the burn. I wouldn't be doing this.
That's right.
I wouldn't be doing music still. Because it was her that convinced me to do music and take it serious. Because it was something I was doing as a hobby, but not really taking serious. She was like, she's an artist, so she recognized what I guess, the yearning of an artist was. And she was like, if you don't take it serious, you lose your mind. And I was losing my mind, so she was right. Now it's a little crazier, but in a good way.
We have requests coming in the chat, by the way, Delio, for you to post the photo of those albums with the. So.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go back when I get back to the crib. I'll try to break them out.
We will do our best, Melanie and folks, to get that up on our Instagram. So be sure to follow Gangstagrass at Gangstagrass on Instagram if you don't already, and share the stuff. Share the stuff around. That's the best thing you can do, because one of the things I'm not grateful for is how ridiculous the music industry is as far as how beholden it is to genre. You try to get a banjo on a hip-hop station or a real honest-to-goodness hip-hop MC on a bluegrass station, and they do not know what to do other than not play that, because it does not fit the paradigm in their heads. So the way to share the music with people is to share the music with people. So please do that.
That's right. Last time we went to a bluegrass station and we tried to have them play something with an MC on it, they just stood up, they walked right to the fire alarm, pulled that sucker, walked out of the building while the alarm was going off, the sprinklers went off and everything.
Everybody was soaked.
And they were never seen again.
Yep.
Yeah, we had to take over the radio station that day.
Yep. That's right. And that is why Washington, D.C. no longer has a full-time bluegrass station.
Destroyed it.
What happened? True story. Wrench, what are you most grateful for?
I do have an awesome family.
You do.
And that's pretty solid to be here for someone that's there every damn day, and it's great. I've lucked out with it.
That's awesome. What I'm most grateful for is also my family, although, as you guys know, my family is not super close, and I don't have many people in my family, and I have an uncle who wants me to rot in hell. So, there's some complicating factors there, but you guys are my chosen family, and because of you guys, I have a family that I get to hang out with, and I get to have family fun and movie nights that I sleep through and road trips and stuff, and I'm really grateful for that.
I'm very grateful for this family as well.
Likewise.
This family member right here.
Oh, right. Yes. Well, I made sure so you guys can kind of see my little water bottle here. I got everybody water bottles and got a few extras for the merch table. So there's going to be a few just one-of-a-kind water bottles at the merch table. But I did make sure, Wrench, that yours has the banjo snake on it, because it seemed to me only appropriate that you would have a snake in your water bottle. All right. You guys ready for the next question?
Now we better keep it moving.
All right, here we go. It's question 10. And this one's a little deep. So again, if anybody wants to skip any questions, there is no pressure here. If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be? Really getting to know you here.
Huh. I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like if I changed anything, I would be different. I wouldn't be the same person.
Exactly.
It wasn't like the way I was raised was not easy by any means. We was po. Not poor. Po. You had to be a little bit richer to afford that OR. But I feel like it gave me character. It taught me how to hustle. And then the trauma and stuff that I experienced growing up kind of gave me the empathy for other people suffering, because I had already been through it. So I don't know. I mean, well, there's one thing, but I don't know if there was one of my classmates was decapitated when I was a sophomore in high school. And it wasn't something that happened to me, but that's definitely something I would have changed. Because she was a good girl. And she didn't deserve that. You know, the person that did it is never getting out of prison, but I wish he never had the chance to do it. Sorry to bring it down.
Hey, these are deep questions. And this
So you want to go after that?
is a legitimately tough one. Yeah, mine is not nearly so
This was
so
this was
deep.
supposed to be how you were raised, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it was just being raised in an environment where stuff like that can happen. It was crazy, but I feel like if I had it easier, I wouldn't be as I don't know, I wouldn't be the same person.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Yeah,
things that we could change, but I know if I change them, I wouldn't. I feel like a lot of the tour management skills that I have to do with the childhood traumas of being the person who was responsible for everyone around me, and having to be calm and cool and capable in those situations. It's like, yeah, I could change that, but then I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I feel like if I had removed the trauma, I probably would have never left Florida.
Tragedy of tragedies.
I mean, because Florida's a beautiful place without the trauma. It's just that there's a lot of trauma happening in that state.
Not trauma? What? Who's in trauma ward? What?
So, Arslan, the question is, if you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be?
Anything.
And again, anybody's welcome to pass on this question if they wish to. All of these questions you can pass on if you want to. We're not going to make anybody answer anything they don't want to.
It's funny. I always say that if I could change my mother's passing, I don't know if I would. Because there's so much of her in my daughter. I don't know that she would exist the same way had my mom been around. I don't know how much of that would have changed, right? And so there's you know what? I think I would have done a little bit more to keep my dad from drinking. That's about it. Everything else has kind of led me to where I am and to this knucklehead who just likes to see himself on a camera. And so that's why he disappeared. And so I wouldn't want to mess any of that up, right? So, maybe I would have done stuff a little differently for my senior prom, like that kind of thing. But other than that, it all sort of lined up in a place. You know what? No, actually, I would have kept my credit good.
Oh, Columbia House.
Columbia House.
That's what I would change. Columbia House.
Is that how you were raised?
Kind of, yeah.
Turning into what I would do differently.
No, I was raised to love music, and no, I take it back. Columbia House, that's probably responsible for a lot of this too. So, actually, it was funny. I was gonna say I would have had Brussels sprouts introduced to me in person, because as a kid, I only heard about Brussels sprouts from TV.
No.
I had never seen one in person until I was an adult.
Wow.
And then when I had one, I was like, why were people complaining about these?
Yeah.
And then I found out later that I guess back in those days, Brussels sprouts really were bad. They just got better because the people over there in Europe were working on Brussels sprouts like it was the cure for cancer.
Well, there's a lot of variants.
They were like, we got to get Brussels sprouts to taste good. And then they got them good by the time that I got around to tasting.
I loved Brussels sprouts as a kid. I was the one rando kid who was like, bring me Brussels sprouts.
I don't know, maybe it just wasn't a thing in Pensacola because I had never seen one until I got to college. I was like, this is a Brussels sprout? It looks like a little cap. How come I never seen one of these before?
It kind of makes sense though, right? Because I mean, they are generally speaking a winter vegetable, and Pensacola has significantly less in the way of winter than, you know, like where I was raised in the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, winter lasted like a week. Yeah. Yeah, Brussels sprouts. That's what it be.
Brussels sprouts, credit. What about you, Wrench? Is there anything that you would change about the way you were raised?
This seems to have turned into like anything that I would change about my life.
Yeah.
Anything I did or
sure,
anything
why
that
not?
happened to me or anybody else in my life. So I would make everybody in space and impervious to any injury. And
Save the crew of the Challenger.
We would be riding on sharks with laser eyeballs.
We definitely have flying cars by now.
Yeah.
Flying Huey.
Yeah. I was thinking more specifically about being raped, which, you know, I think my parents were good. They did a great job. But, you know, there's always things that you can think. Are you hearing a weird?
I am. What is that?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's any of that stuff kind of it's scary to try to make those changes because it's like I don't know. A few weeks ago there was like this meme going around or post where people were like, okay, if you could take was it $10 million now or go back to the age of 6 with all the knowledge that you have now, which would you take? And I was like, money, because it does me no good to be 6 years old knowing all the stuff I know now, because I couldn't repeat all those steps just right to get to where I'm at.
Right, you'd end up in a different place. You might be a lot wealthier, but you'd definitely be in a different place.
Right. Like a lot of the stuff I have gotten to in life has been by chance, like pure chance.
Pure chance.
Pure chance. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've made a lot of choices and done a lot of things that made me ready for that stuff to happen when it happened. But the fact that it happened when it happened was pure luck of the draw.
We might have missed that cipher that night.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I didn't randomly decide to like not go into a job that was my major and decided to work as a bartender at night and teach myself to code and work at a startup and then move to the middle of Pennsylvania to work at a software company, I would have never met our son randomly on the street in a cipher.
It's also hard to thinking about changing how you yourself are raised rather than just thinking about how you would do something differently as raising somebody else.
Yeah.
So, like I feel like, you know, those generations are evolving and learning, right? And you have to go through it. So there's things that I'm, you know, conscious of now that I think, you know, one example, talking to all the folks out there that are listening, is that I want to try to raise people in a household where you actually talk about mental health, which was not something that was like ever talked about in my household. I'm raising folks in a household where we talk about race from, whatever age you are, like tell the history, tell the reality, so that it's not, something you're trying to catch up on 20 years later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The one thing that I would change, I think, is kind of along those, something that I would end up having to catch up on 20 years later things, which is that, I mean, my dad was such an amazing dad, and I lost him too early. And I one of the things that was so amazing about him was how chill he was about stuff, generally speaking, and how kind of laissez-faire he was. But I wish he had been sort of forceful about teaching me the stuff that he knew. Speaking of woodworking, I wish he had taught me all of that stuff, because he was so good at it. He was incredibly skilled at picture framing and and playing guitar and fiddle and dobro and freaking clarinet. The time he just like went to the music store and rented a clarinet to teach himself. So like I wish that, rather than sort of being a dumb kid who was like, oh yeah, that's a cool thing my dad does, but like I'll never understand it, I'll never learn it, I wish he had just been like, nope, you're gonna sit down and I'm gonna teach you, and I don't care if you fuss, you're gonna learn this. He once paid me $50 to read Animal Farm, and I ended up loving it, and it didn't end up being about the money. And I feel like maybe a similar thing might have worked with this, So I would have loved that, because I would love to have those skills that he had, and of course it's too late now. So that's the one thing. Everything else, I think, if it had changed, it would have very much changed who I am and how I'm able to operate. So even though there were a bunch of bad things, I couldn't rightly change them, because I probably would not be sitting here. Just like if you'd had that $10 million. Incidentally, in the chat, we're getting a lot of support for the whole 10 million now as well. Seems like the answer. Yeah.
Did y'all see this Tesla lawsuit?
Oh, the guy who's been tracking Elon Musk's private plane? No, that's a different thing. What is it?
No. The horrific allegations of racism prompt California lawsuit against Tesla. Tesla segregated black, supposedly, in California Civil Rights Agency filed a lawsuit against the electric vehicle maker in Alameda County on behalf of thousands of black workers after a decade of complaints and a 32-month investigation. Tesla segregated black workers into separate areas.
Yo, they Denny's it?
Yeah, I read about that.
That its employees referred to as porch monkey stations, the dark side, the slave ship, and the plantation.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like the only people shocked are the people that don't know who Elon Musk is and where he's from.
He's
the son of diamond mine owners from apartheid South Africa.
Fair point.
So like this is what he is used for. This is part of his culture. So the fact that he behaved,
how you were raised, how you could be raised differently.
Right. What we would change about how Elon Musk was raised.
Yeah.
Wow. Good segue.
Besides the N-word, harassment at Tesla, according to the DFEH lawsuit, included slurs such as monkey toes, banana boy, hood rats, and mate, a Spanish word for dung beetle.
No, mayate.
Mayate. Okay. Yo, they wilding up in here, son.
Yeah.
Oh, racism.
A lot of people have been empowered to be their true selves these past, X number of years. I actually kind of appreciate the fact that they are being their authentic selves, because it allows us to make the decision to not mess with them, to not do business with them.
I know. They all listen to the same mindfulness spiritual advisors that talk about getting in touch with your authentic self and just let them.
Right.
Yes.
Let the hate flow through.
Asshole. Be an authentic asshole. I'm still tripping on the gazpacho police.
The gazpacho police!
I was bagging up, dude. I laughed about that for a half an hour.
Oh my
especially
God.
because I don't know if you saw the thing I posted. There was a cartoon called Chowder, and on Chowder there was a character named Gazpacho, and his costume, he kind of looked like a cop, so it was perfect. I saw that and was dying laughing. I was like, did she just? Nah, let me rewind. Let me run that back. That's not what she said. She didn't say the Gazpacho police. Let me run that back and see. Oh, oh, damn. Oh, damn. Bitch, you're in Congress. You are in Congress.
And you do not know the difference between secret police and cold tomato soup.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of times, and this is the reason why I always say that who you put in Congress is the proxy for your people. Like, it represents who you are as a person, who you select to represent you.
Say word.
But when I see Maggie Taylor Greene, or whatever her name is,
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, Maggie, whatever.
Gazpacho, Gestapo, whatever.
Yeah. Whenever I see her and hear what passes for speech, I have to remind myself that she ran unopposed. So they didn't even get a chance to choose someone competent. Had no one voted, she would have won that seat.
Yeah, you're right. Where's she from again?
Georgia.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I gotta run my son home. I will catch y'all on the swing back. Y'all behave out there. Be nice to my friends while they're here entertaining you, and answer their questions. They're having fun with it. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah.
See you on Thursday in Philly.
Yeah.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I'll call you on the way.
Right in the morning. Right.
Peace.
And I like to think that the people of her district could choose somebody competent had they the opportunity to. I'd like to think that.
Mm-hmm.
Would also
So
like to think that.
I'm hopeful that when her seat comes up this November, that they do make the choice of someone who can actually read and knows the difference between that knows the difference between the secret police of an oppressive regime and a soup.
I think what actually happened is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that Nancy Pelosi is very seriously anti-cilantro, and that is actually what she actually did create a gazpacho police. So Pelosi's gazpacho police are actually just trying to make sure that there is no cilantro in gazpacho, and that is actually a real thing, and people are just making fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene because they think she got it wrong, but actually she was talking about Nancy Pelosi's real cilantro-hating gazpacho police.
Sounds like an important issue.
I don't know. I'll give $100 to the first person that can show me a bill she wrote.
That's an interesting question. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the typos in that thing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It'd probably just be a blood-soaked handprint on a piece of paper.
Right, something about the Lincoln Frederick Douglass debates.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Yep. Did you see the Confederate flags in the protests up in Canada?
Well, it lets you know who they, like, what side of history they stand on. Because the thing is that the Confederate flag has become a symbol of its own beyond just the Confederacy,
Yeah.
And, it's something that us Black folks have been trying to tell folks for a long time. But when you see people in other countries using it, they're not representing the South.
Right. There was some point made that some significant portion of the protesters in Canada may in fact be American, which might also explain that. But it's a really good point that the symbol has gone beyond what the history of it was to embody something contemporary that is deeply ugly.
Yeah, but why would they want to be in a socialist country?
And a socialist country run by the Queen, no less.
Yes.
Yep. I don't know.
Well, did we make it to a dozen questions yet?
No, but we made it to 10. 10 is nice and round. I think 10 is great.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do 21 at least, in honor of Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what are you trying to get to? 21? Okay, hang on here. Let me see what question number 21 is. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So, question number 21 is... Huh, that's interesting. Okay, wow. It's like it can't even handle telling me, but we'll go with this one. Alternate sharing something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner. Share anyone share anyone quality or ability, a total of 5 items. I think it's combining 2 questions here. But oh, share a total of 5 items. That's it. Okay. Alternate sharing something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner. Share a total of 5 items.
And we've decided that the partner thing is the people in the band.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, I could do one for each one of you. Well, at least one. One is for Wrench. It's I guess the wizard-like inventive ability of being able to take things that, I don't know, I guess just seem random and then making them into an order that makes sense to a dope degree. One thing, I was actually talking about this to somebody yesterday about Sleeves, is her ability to sell anything.
Right.
Anything. Even things you didn't know could be sold. I was like, I wasn't even selling that. Thank you. Just hand me a pile of money. I'm like, where is this from? Oh, this is from the thing I sold. Wait, you sold those? Okay.
Turns out you can make quite an impression on people by handing them a pile of cash that they were not expecting.
Yeah, I was like, what?
All right. So for Wrench, the thing that I find most amazing and impressive is what he does on stage. I mean, all the stuff behind the scenes, you know, all that magical wizardry is beyond even my comprehension, but you can actually see him doing this on stage. And
yes.
Yes. But the amazing thing is he's doing that while he is playing rhythm guitar and singing and running the beats with his feet. And people will change stuff up in the middle of the song, and Wrench is right there, and he's doing all of those things at once. It's like how you can be impressed by somebody playing the drum set because they're doing different things with their feet and each of their hands, but it's like on a whole other level because it's his feet running the beats and it's his hands also keeping the rhythm on the guitar, but it's like different rhythms. It's not, you know, it's not doing the same thing. And singing and, you know, having all of this coordination with everybody else on the stage. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It is a reason to come and see Gangstagrass live because that is so amazing. That is the thing. And then Dolio is, and this is something I think comes across in these live streams, but is not necessarily something that you're going to see on the stage. You have to know him. Is that he knows so much, almost everything, near as I can tell. And if he doesn't know it, he will find it out. And the next time you talk to him, he will know that answer. So I'm constantly going to Dolio with questions about things. Yes, Dolio?
That's actually how I got my nickname.
Exactly. That's why he's Dolio the Sleuth, because, you know, you ask him a question and maybe he already knows it because he sleuthed it out before, but if he doesn't, he will sleuth it out. He'll go to the library, he'll figure it out, do the thing, he'll test it out, and by the next time you ask, he's got that answer. And it's just such a great delight because he has this both an incredible depth and an incredible breadth of knowledge. So those are my impressive qualities and abilities that I see in these two guys, among many, many, many others.
Yeah. I wanted to say about Sleeves that Sleeves has a strong passion for information and going down the rabbit hole and learning about things. So I think Sleeves is actually uniquely positioned to fully appreciate Dolio's supply of knowledge, because Sleeves, will mine that and will dig into it and then come away with the knowledge as well. Because I think Sleeves does a good bit of that as well, of finding out about a little something interesting and picking at it until you get really, really down in there, and will engage very deeply in all kinds of strands about life, the universe, and everything. And as Sleeves mentioned, Dolio does have a wealth of knowledge, but it's paired with another superpower, which is, when you are trying to explain something to somebody, or somebody's asking about something, and you could blurt out like your thoughts about it, but if you took time, like if you're writing it out and you can stop and go back and edit, you can stop and look something up, you can phrase something better, hone it down, and like get it as clear as possible and as accurate as possible. That's actually what comes out of Dolio's mouth when he's speaking extemporaneously. Like he's on point in explaining it, like accurately and without tangents, and like basically at the level, which is usually what happens after you've taken time to like write, draft, revise, research, and then like go back and rewrite.
That's right. Dolio's already there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. A clarity of thought and a clarity of communication that is unparalleled.
Yeah, that's thanks to, partially through the fact that I used to have, I guess you never lose a speech impediment. You just kind of always deal with it. Mm-hmm. So because of it, I'm more deliberate with my words. So it makes me take more time before the words actually come out, because else they would come out sounding like gibberish. and I do realize that I'm in that, and probably also just my day job gives me lots of practice in explaining things.
That's right. So. Teaching. Yep. Yep. And then, translates into brilliant lyricism. And that's a pretty amazing thing too. I want to just, because, even though the other three fellows aren't here right now, I would like to extend the same to them, because they are all, each one integral to this incredible team. And I would say Pharaoh's the person that I've actually known the longest. I've known Pharaoh longer than I've known any of these folks. That's how we knew to bring Pharaoh in, because he's this guy that I've known for all this time, and he has an ability also unparalleled, unlike anything I have ever seen before, to get away with things that no ordinary human possibly could. We have multiple
Yes.
times watched Pharaoh get onto airplanes, including international flights, with no identification whatsoever. At this very moment, his wallet is in my house. It doesn't matter. He'll be fine. It won't even be a problem. Not even going to be an issue. He is some kind of like trance worm or something. Like he
is a walking Mentos commercial.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. It's amazing, and it's a joy to behold. I absolutely love it.
Is the fresh maker.
Yes, it's the Pharaoh of the fresh maker.
The fresh maker.
And Danjo, his musicianship is unparalleled. I mean, he can pick up anything and play it. His skill is extraordinary, and his musical knowledge, he's got a master's in choral directing. He studied music at Bard, and he's been playing bluegrass probably since before he could talk, with his dad, who plays bluegrass around DC. And so, Dan's skill as a musician and as a musician playing with other musicians is it's an absolute joy to get to witness,
he's a hell of a songwriter too.
He's a hell of a songwriter, and he's got a great voice. He's just the consummate musician. And and he has extremely high standards, and and I think that pushes everything to be better around him, which is a really great thing. And then finally, our son is a person who has an ability to talk with anyone. He is a person who can take people who disagree with him, and rather than do a thing that has become so common, especially in America, especially in things like political discourse nowadays, and kind of either shut down around people who disagree or shut them down, he will have an exchange with them that is actually productive, and without losing any of the straightforwardness and boldness of the way that he speaks. So I feel like our son can communicate with just about anybody, and does, and is willing to, and in so doing makes the world a better place, and makes the spaces that are lucky enough to have him in them a better place, as he brings understanding to the people around him. Yeah. That was nice. I like that. Good way to wrap. And actually, I'm going to say one more thing, which is about the people who hang out in the chat and who are our barnstormers. And we've gotten to see a bunch of our barnstormers at these shows. We saw I Am Curious Mauve up in New Jersey. New barnstormers have come on board, and just some really amazing people, and they all have their own talents. Noli D bails people out of jail, and and we have amazing promoters, and we have people with families, and we have people all around the world, and they're so funny, and they roll with things, and they also help spread the word, not just about this music, but about the good things that are happening, that they can help to also make what's going on around them more positive and more beneficial to everybody. So good job, all you folks out there. Thank you for doing what you do.
There are a couple of questions in the YouTube.
Yeah.
To wrap up with.
Yeah, what do we got over here?
Well, Swimming Fishies wanted to know if we know the longest English word, and can we incorporate it into a song? Which I'm going to say, I don't really want to engage in too much flossy-nossy-nihilipithilification about it, but probably not worth using anti-disestablishmentarianism or new mono-ultra microscopic volcanoconiosis in a song, because that's just not going to be an emotionally effective song.
I don't know. I feel like anti-disestablishmentarianism is actually very relevant right now. It might be overdone, though.
Yeah.
It might be overdone, though. And I definitely feel like Dolio could do it. If we wanted to get that into a verse, he's going to do it. And he's going to rhyme P.S. every single piece of that word.
Right. And Slim Brick the Roofer wanted to know about music that inspires us, or favorite albums. But I'm gonna, that's really a big one that we spent on. So I'm just gonna say like something recent that you reflected on, like a song that made a big impression on you or something.
Okay. Well, I just listened to They Might Be Giants' latest album. It's called Book. And, you know, they managed to get me every single time. But they have the very first track of the song is called, what is it called? It's something like For the Latecomers or something. And it's basically in song form an announcement of, you know, for those who have just arrived and are wondering what is going on here, please give us a moment and we will explain. And it gets to the point where they're like, we know you're all wanting to know, most importantly, who ate the babies? Who ate the babies? And it just, I don't know, it gets me right here. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they're still doing the thing that they've been doing since the mid 80s. You know, they are unapologetically They Might Be Giants. And, you know, Gangstagrass inspires me too in a very similar way, except Gangstagrass's music is constantly evolving and changing as, you know, as the musicians themselves have more inspirations and more things that they, you know, that they want to talk about and ideas that they want to express musically. So, you know, that's a huge inspiration, and particularly a lot of the stuff that you guys laid down in the studio this last time. That's like my big musical inspiration right now. Sankofa and Gone Gone and Only Way Out Is Through, and there's a lot of really good stuff coming. So yeah, grateful to get to hear it. Yep. Yeah. What about you, Wrench? What's got you?
Well, there's something I was just thinking about today. I was remembering the first time that I heard Tricky's first album, and it starts with his cover of the Public Enemy song Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos, but it's like fairly unrecognizable, and especially the start, it's just this weird sound in a loop that's not a guitar, not a synth, and then this beat comes in, and it's kind of it's not a hip-hop beat. It's like these, drum sounds you would hear in something else, kind of acoustic, but clearly they're samples in a beat pattern that is halfway up tempo and halfway down tempo, because it's not doom gat doom gat doom gat doom gat, and it's not doom gat doom gat. It does half of the first one and half of the second one. It goes doom gat doom gat doom gat doom gat doom gat doom gat, so that it's in this lurching thing, and then this woman is singing the Public Enemy verses, and the whole thing was just totally unlike anything I had heard before, and the kind of thing where I was just like sitting there, like taking in this thing coming out and being like, this is something that I need to understand. What is going on here? And that was it was a little mind-blowing revelation.
Very nice.
Yeah, that album was co-produced with the Insects, who I think were responsible for a lot of the amazingness of the album.
Intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Make a playlist for the van. Because we'll have some time in a van. How about you, Sleutheroo?
One that inspired me a lot over the years, because I always keep coming back to it, is Chuck Mangione's Eyes of the Veiled Temptress.
Mm-hmm. I believe you have played this in the van.
The album or just the song?
The song.
The album is quite awesome. I don't remember when I found that album. I think at a flea market years and years ago, and I played that record like crazy. As of lately, I've heard a lot of cool, dope albums that have been inspired, but I think David Banner's the God Box has some of the most like cinematic production I've heard in a long time, and the story, and just the way the songs are put together were pretty awesome.
Wait, oh, I was thinking Bruce Banner. I was trying to figure out like, what this Incredible Hulk album was.
No, David Banner, he's an MC / producer from
Right.
Mississippi. And Mississippi has, good stuff coming out of it,
Yeah.
Also, Big Crit's Cadillactica was a dope album. Also quite cinematic in the way it was composed. I like albums that kind of force you to listen to it from cover to cover, from start to finish.
Yeah.
In a way that it sounds cohesive. And those are some that really do fit that mold.
Great question. Thank you, chat. I'm absolutely loving Delirium ? In the chat here was talking about getting kicked out of a place for dancing and saying only been kicked out of one place for dancing, and it was for the security cameras at the bank, which I want a copy of that footage.
Yes.
I'm gonna make a music video out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything about that. Come say hi to us at a show. Please be sure that you come say hi to us at a show.
And we will make sure that we'll make sure the dancing is in the mix for the show in Boone, North Carolina.
Yep. All the shows. There will be dancing in the mix for all the shows. And in Boone, North Carolina, there will be clogging in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. In Boone, the Boone Theater's tight. It's an old theater, so there's like, how normally there would be like space up in the front? There's none of that. So people are going to have to get creative. Might be going up into the balcony to dance, might be like along the edges. There's also no center aisle at the Boone Theater. So it's like, I'm not really sure people are going to be dancing on each other's shoulders. I don't really know how we're going to make it. Like, we're definitely going to make it work. It's going to happen, but be prepared. Get creative with dancing in Boone. Betty Lynn's dancing around just thinking about the next show. Well, we got some great stuff coming up. Really excited about Bluegrass Underground. Super excited about all the shows coming up in Philly and DC and Boone and Knoxville and Louisville and Missouri and Wisconsin and Minnesota and Iowa and Indiana and Ohio and Virginia and Tennessee and the UK. So we will see you there. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for opening your hearts and minds, fellas, to answer these questions for us and let us get to know you a little better.
All lies.
We'll see you hopefully here next week from the Hamilton in Washington, D.C. But if we are not able to broadcast from there, then you should just come to the Hamilton in Washington, D.C. It's going to be a great show. 2 shows. Spread the word. Tell your DC friends. And Barnstormers, make sure that whatever show you come to, you say hello to us at the merch table because we have your VIP Barnstormers pass, your hard laminate. We would like for you to wear around so that we can see you from across the room and know that you are our Barnstormers. So come see us at the shows. We'll give you your Barnstormers VIP pass and be happy to greet you like the family that you are. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night.